Hey guys, so this week our lesson is called Following Yonder Star. So today I'm just gonna get into the story a little bit. I'm so a bit behind again, but I will definitely try and get into the motions of it. I suppose it all comes with time and stuff, and even these videos probably get better too. But yeah, so today we're just taking a little look into the story. It's located in Matthew chapter 2, and our commentary is Desire of Ages or Humble Hero chapter 6. So really get into it and just dig it. The commentaries are just really helpful and really awesome because they kind of give us a background about what the characters are like and what the story is like and what the time was like. So, it gives us a better understanding of what this everything is about and how we can apply it more into today, into our everyday lives, presently. So the story is about Jesus' birth, like basically more about the wise men. And I suppose we focus a lot more on the wise men as well, and Herod and the priests, and the prophecies and how they were fulfilled. So I think they are the key things that we're looking at this week. So with the wise men, they traveled a great distance to come and see Jesus, and because I guess they looked pretty suspicious, so they were brought before the king. And Herod, didn't expect any kind of answer like they gave him. What are you doing here? We've come to worship the Savior. And I mean, he would have never expected anything like that, especially since he didn't know. Shocked, surprised, like a very bad kind of surprise. That is such a terrible description. He wanted to get rid of this guy because he was like a rival to him. Firstly, because Herod wasn't even in the line of David. He was an Edomite. The only reason why he was still king there is because Rome liked this guy, but everybody else hated him. And yeah, so I thought about it, and I guess he had some help with his advisors, and he's like to the wise men, hey, well, you go find this baby and then come back to me and tell me where he is so then I can go and worship him with you. When we already know that he just wanted to get rid of Jesus. So he let the wise men go. They went off, and in that time he went to the priests and demanded them to tell him the rest of the story, what this prophecy is about. And the priests, they were pretty offended by the fact that there's a group of foreign guys coming to Bethlehem, coming into their region to worship Jesus, when them, the priests and all, being the chosen people, I guess not even realizing, not even going to worship him. And because of their pride and their stubbornness, they didn't like the king, so they were pretending to be ignorant about it the whole time, I guess. But they told the king that, he's in Bethlehem, Jesus is born in Bethlehem. But because of all this commotion with the wise men and even with the angel appearing to the shepherds, the people wanted to know what was going on. But because of their stubbornnness and their pride, they're like, it's just some fanatical excitement, nothing to be serious about or anything. And that's when, like it says in our commentary, that was when their hatred for the Savior began. It's terrible. It's no wonder Jesus had such a hard time. And so then the wise men found Jesus, and when they went to him, they were just in absolute awe to be before the Savior of the world. They brought him the most expensive gifts they could buy in the land: frankincense, gold, and myrrh. And they just bowed and worshipped him there. And the wise men were there. So I'm talking about the wise men right now. But the shepherds were there too. And yeah, so it was just amazing for them. And then after that, they rested a while before they went home, and God came to them in a dream. So, God comes to us in so many different ways, but he comes to a lot of people in this story in dreams. So he told them, hey, go home another way, because yeah, don't go back to Herod, because, you know, he's gonna do something bad. He only wants to kill and save you, and probably you guys too. So they found their way home another way. And then an angel comes to Joseph to go and tell him to go and flee to Egypt, because you've got some enemies here. And so that kind of fulfills the prophecy of Jesus coming out of Egypt. And even before that, I mean, I forgot, you know, one of the prophecies that, you know, Jesus was born in Bethlehem. And then Jesus coming out of Egypt. And then after that, because Herod hadn't heard from the wise men for ages, and he became suspicious, and he was so paranoid, he wanted to get rid of this baby so much, this new king. So he sent out to massacre all the 2-year-olds and under. I mean, how terrible is that? But, I mean, it was even recorded that it would happen, and God knew it would happen. This is how Herod is going to react, because he's a terrible guy. But anyway, he ended up dying a very fearful death, apparently. After Herod died, then the angel went back to Joseph and told him it's safe to come back now. But because his son was ruling, Herod's son was ruling now, and, you know, Joseph was pretty fearful of what could happen. So they went around and stayed in Galilee for a bit. And then they went to Nazareth. And so the other prophecy was fulfilled, that Jesus would be called a Nazarene. So I suppose, kind of looking at the story, I took a look at the teacher's lesson about what it's about, kind of like what we're specifically looking for in this story. The target focuses pretty much on the wise men, on how they played such an important part in God's plan, and how they were so determined and excited to see Jesus, and how they were just absolute awe, and how that can relate to us, how we can play such a big part in God's plan, and how we can, you know, his second coming, I suppose, and just bringing people to him, and how we can be like them in the later days, or the future people could be like him when Jesus comes again, you know, holding on to that hope, and just, you know, really living it. And the other thing that I took a look at in the teacher's lesson is what we're exploring in our lesson, and that's pretty much politics. So looking at the priests and looking at Herod and how they dealt with the situation, or didn't really. And also the other thing is a natural world. I don't exactly know what that means, but that's one of the things that we're exploring, and I suppose we'll kind of cover that during this week and find out what that actually is. And the last one for exploring is the prejudice. The prejudice that the priests had towards the wise men. And what that can, and then what that can bring about in people. So yeah, have a read and just think about these, think about the target of this lesson and what we're exploring in it this week. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys, your thoughts and everything, and the email is in the description, so feel free to email me anytime. I'm always checking it. I hope this kind of helps unfold the story for you guys a little bit, and helps you get started in it. Yeah, I will definitely see you tomorrow via via YouTube, and then Facebook. Right.